Welcome back to the Discussing and Critiquing Film Media podcast. I'm your host Juan, joined by Brian, Emmanuel, and Alberto, and today we will be discussing Venom.
Spoilers.
Oh yeah, massive spoilers. This is a spoiler-filled discussion, so if you haven't seen it, go see it and then come back.
The gist of it, basically, Eddie Brock is an investigative journalist who just so happens to freaking break into a, what was it, like
Life Foundation,
whatever the heck they were like studying about.
Supposed cancer.
Homeless woman that he knows is like infected with the symbiote, and then he tries to break her out. And yes.
I haven't seen it.
Then get the hell out of here. Okay, so yeah, he breaks out the homeless woman, and then she pounces on him and transfers the symbiote from herself to him in like a never mind. Then what ensues is like Brock literally goes freaking crazy. It looks like he has like a fever. He's like acting all spastic, getting hella sweaty, freaking jumping into like tanks filled with lobsters in the middle of like fancy restaurants while everybody's watching. Freaking pulls out a lobster, like takes a chomp out of its tail. Then the symbiote kind of like reveals its intentions, and freaking him and Brock go on a magical adventure. Alright, so what are you guys' thoughts on the movies?
So when I thought about it, it was pretty great. I mean, it had its it was enjoyable though. But other than that, like the critics that like claim to say that was confusing and it's just like really bad, I don't agree with them.
They're dumb.
Yeah, they were exaggerating too much about the movie. They just wanted to, express how they feel about the movie.
For me, it was an enjoyable movie. Very fast-paced for me. Well, I mean, fast-paced being that it was very short. The first act was, in a way, confusing, like a maze, because, you couldn't really tell if Eddie Brock was supposed to be one like the comics or like a lover boy. His character development was confusing, yeah, but otherwise it was still an enjoyable movie. The ending fight scene was also, a little too short. There's a lot of things that this movie was short on, and the budget-wise and I guess CGI-wise, there's little details here and there could have been improved.
Yeah, I think this is a very interesting example of a essentially pre-MCU movie in the sense that it's very standalone. There's no there's no like world building in the sense that they're building like a universe here. Obviously at the end they set up a sequel, but I kind of liked it for that. It's not trying to be a universal film. It's just a solo film, and it's very reminiscent of movies before Iron Man.
Oh yeah, like Hulk.
Yeah, all of those like first phase MCU movies, they're like standalone films, but they have the elements of the MCU in the sense that they have overlapping characters and story details. Like even though Incredible Hulk, I'd say probably out of Incredible Hulk and Iron Man, out of the two, those are like two MCU Phase 1 movies that I'd say are very standalone, and it's really only at the end that they have like a broader connection, right?
Yeah.
And so that's why I said that's what this movie kind of reminded me of too, and I liked it for that.
To be honest, I really freaking enjoyed the movie. It was more than enjoyable, it was entertaining to me. Like most of the comedy was like not forced humor like the MCU where they would like drop hella corny jokes.
Yeah, I agree.
It was like actually funny. Freaking when he's like pussy.
Yeah,
it was hilarious.
Yeah, kind of didn't just appeal to kids. It also had it's like an adult element.
Exactly. They did take advantage of the PG-13's one F-bomb. Dropped it like towards the very end, but I thought it was like at an appropriate time,
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. As far as like character development and stuff like that, I didn't really pay much attention to it, but like going back to what Brian said is like you get kind of confused as to like, because you get very like mixed signals from Brock. Like you see him as like the hotshot reporter, then you see him as like the boyfriend,
the lonely, depressed,
and then after that you see him as a lonely, depressed
guy.
like freaking girlfriend dumps him, gets kicked out of the house, goes into like an apartment in the ghetto that he can barely afford rent for, trying to look for another job, and his freaking neighbor is like a jerk. Yeah, it's...
Well, it goes back to what Brian mentioned about how fast-paced this film is.
Yeah.
All of that happens in the span of like the first 20 minutes of the film,
Yeah.
which is to me one of the biggest faults of the film is that I think it's way too short. I think it definitely could have benefited from a 2-hour plus runtime, but I have a feeling they just ended up cutting a lot of stuff, either to maybe their intent was to make it R, and they kind of were going for an R thing, but they just had to cut a lot of stuff to have a PG-13 rating.
For me, in my opinion, still could have benefited from a rated R.
Definitely.
For being rated R, I mean, maybe some scenes could have been improved,
Like what?
like action. Because I mean, the movie was good, action packed. It was good. It's just some of the CGI that they used didn't really bring out all the elements of what Venom is.
Yeah.
For say, maybe when he fights the SWAT team. The SWAT team, yes, it was a good scene.
That
was dope.
that's
That was a good scene.
That's probably the best scene in my
Probably the
opinion.
best scene, yeah.
Yeah.
But when he was also facing the
Riot.
mercenaries
Oh,
and
alright,
Riot,
alright.
maybe it could have been improved from a rated R perspective because, I mean, Venom is Venom. We have to see if it's a standalone movie, you have more liberties to explore without any restrictions because, you know, since Disney owns Marvel, they have a little bit more restrictions on what you can probably put out.
Well, this is Sony.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not.
It's owned by Sony.
Yeah, so this is a Sony film, and that's why it's not part of the MCU.
No,
It's in association with Marvel,
you,
yeah.
like, since you're not under the control of Disney, you have your own
Yeah,
liberties. You get
they should have taken advantage of the fact,
Definitely.
Yeah, they should have taken advantage of that.
much like how Fox has with
With
Deadpool,
Deadpool,
and
yes.
Logan. I think Sony should have done this as well.
Because, you know, Disney being a kid catering company they are.
Yeah.
That's why the MCU's movies are much more different than one, as you would say, Deadpool. Or,
Standalone.
well, yeah, standalone. Those movies really bring out what those characters are really about without sugarcoating it. I mean, for me, that rated R rating would have really benefited the movie in the sense maybe some more action, some lines or plot holes that could have been filled. Because for me, since I said it was fast paced, like in the first 20 minutes, a lot of things happen. Maybe like you could have expressed because there's just I didn't really understand this part, the love story of him and his supposed girlfriend. I mean, you probably could have explored that more, even if it was rated R. I mean, you could have seen why Eddie Brock loves her so much because I mean, you only see one scene where they're dating and because they fuck, but I mean,
Yeah, they do.
you don't really see a love story why he loves her so much, and from one day to another or one scene to another, you just skip I don't know what 6 years.
Right. Yeah. Oh, it skips to like 6 months.
6 months.
Yeah. There's a big time gap in the film right at the beginning.
I mean, you could have explored a little bit more, especially character development wise.
I think it sucks because Tom Hardy is a great actor.
Yeah.
And so is Michelle Williams, and somehow they don't really have much chemistry in the film. But I think that's not a fault of their own. It's the fact that they don't have enough time to develop that story.
Yeah.
The whole cast was great actors.
Yep.
It's just that the director probably he didn't really care that much. I'm pretty sure.
Well, I honestly think this is going to be another case of heavy studio interference, where Sony really came in and was like, all right guys, you gotta cut this, you gotta cut that. I'm guessing they wanted to have a film that was less than 2 hours, which again I think was a big mistake.
That was really
Yeah.
big mistake.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
I have a feeling if he really wanted to, I have a feeling the director Ruben Fleischer probably did want to make an R, but again, I'm pretty sure Sony was the one who said they would much rather have a PG-13, and that's why it bothers me so much is the fact that they say the reason they wanted a PG-13 was because later on
They want to cross over with Spider-Man.
They want to have Spider-Man in this film, which to me, it is BS because one, if you have a movie with Spider-Man, okay, make that one PG-13, you know, but you can still have this one rated R because Spider-Man is nowhere to be seen in this film. You know what I mean? But also the real reason they did it was because they knew that if they do it rated R, they're gonna get less money.
Yeah.
Because PG-13, there's a broader audience, more people can go, and that's why they.
Cash grab.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's what I'm saying. It's a cash grab. Cause like, look at Deadpool though. It was not a cash grab, but it still did successful. Like super successful. Like better than all the other X-Men movies. Sony wasn't really thinking like them, like 20th century.
Yeah.
They should have done that. But no, they supposedly, like how you said, wanted to connect it to
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man, which was not a great idea. this is a standalone,
Right.
like
Exactly.
a standalone by himself,
Mhm.
and we don't see anything from other universes.
Yeah.
They just didn't take that advantage. Like
Yeah.
Sony just like said, all right, let's just do this and then get more money off of the other Spider-Man.
And then it kind of shows that that Sony didn't really have a lot of confidence to put this movie out as a rated R. They probably feared that what would happen is that it'd be rated R, so that means less people can go, and then they probably thought that a lot of people were not going to like it, and therefore even less people would go.
Yeah.
But they
know.
thought wrong.
In the end, the PG-13 worked for them because they ended up getting a good amount of money during the weekend that it came out. But what sucks about that is that now they're gonna see, Sony's gonna see that, oh hey, a PG-13 Venom, it was successful, so let's just keep doing them PG-13. They're not really thinking, oh, next step should be rated R. But I guess the one thing that like is sort of reassuring is the fact that Wolverine, his first X-Men Origins Wolverine was PG-13.
Yeah.
Then the Wolverine PG-13, and then finally the third one, Logan. Was rated R.
Yes.
So I'm hoping that Sony actually takes
That's a
that.
freaking clue.
Yeah, they take that route and actually.
And also
have,
with Deadpool, you know how he said they're gonna re-release the movie.
Yeah,
as
PG-13.
PG-13.
this
So, I mean,
December. Yeah.
and we could probably see a trend going on here that they're like transitioning.
They're
from
trying to milk that
PG-13.
cow dry, pretty much.
Yeah. Well, I mean, also that they also like transitioning between ratings, I guess. Like, I mean, PG-13 could be just to test the waters. Who knows on the part of the studio?
Right.
I mean, nobody really knows that. I mean, they could also tested the waters with rated R. But I mean, at the same time, yeah, like you said, there's a lot of studio interference. Maybe creativity-wise, the director and the rest of the cast and crew probably wanted to make a rated R movie. Maybe, who knows? But now that we saw the product of what Venom is, one can only hope that they learn from this.
I mean, the way they presented the plot in the film makes it look like an R isn't really warranted. But I think that's why it might be a bit of a mess.
Yeah.
You know, because I feel like they probably had to do last-minute edits and cuts, whereas probably maybe in the original script it was written for an R-rated adaptation.
Yeah. Maybe that's why the product was a 1 hour movie.
Right, less than 2 hours. Yeah.
Which, I mean, that's really short for a standalone movie because for a standalone, you want to have a lengthy process in a way, like so you can have enough time to have character development to actually tell a story.
Right.
This was actually really rushed for me. It was too short for what they were trying to deliver us in a way. For a Venom storyline, the beginning of Venom.
I still think that it was like a really good movie. Like, yeah, it was rushed, but I feel like they did kind of a good job in like trying to cram as much in there as they could. And I guess we just have to wait for the freaking second movie to come out to fill in some of those holes that was left behind. But if we're having carnage in that movie, that's got to be a rated R.
That has to be a rated
No
R
doubt.
movie
Yeah.
No doubt.
because
There's no way of like using those elements in a PG.
Using that person, a freaking
13.
serial killer who, like, I think he might have killed his grandma. I don't
Yeah,
remember
in the comics.
Yeah.
And they
Yeah.
were kind of sticking to the comics, weren't they?
A little bit. I mean, first of all, they already don't have Spider-Man as part of Venom's origin, so that already is a big differentiation from the comic book storyline. But they were kind of going for the Lethal Protector story, which it was very loosely based. It wasn't exactly a direct adaptation. We'll get into that Carnage conversation a little bit later because there's a little bit of news on that.
All right.
But yeah, I think we could probably start discussing Venom himself. Tom Hardy, what did you guys think of? I definitely thought a major improvement over what we saw in Topher Grace's Venom.
Muscular dude. Muscular dude.
You needed somebody big,
Right.
bulky,
Well, but like,
And
yeah.
angry looking.
and on a strong character too, because he was very defiant of what they told him to do when he interviews. What was his name? The founder of the
what's Carlton Drake,
Carlton Drake.
played by Riz Ahmed, the villain, aka
Also.
Riot.
Also pretty good.
Yeah.
Role. Did a good job.
But again, I feel like he too was kind of wasted. Like, I think villain-wise, he was
Yes.
pretty weak,
he
unfortunately,
was.
just because there wasn't enough time for him to be developed. He was very much just a one-note kind of character, in my opinion.
Yeah, we
Just
barely
becomes-
Yeah.
had any screen time for him.
Yeah.
Like it just felt he wasn't like one of those scary villains,
Right,
you know.
and that's why like they have a huge selection of symbiotes, right? You
Yes.
have, I mean, okay, I understand you don't want to do Carnage in the first movie, but you know maybe
We see 3 of them and they use 2 only.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they all died. Like we didn't see anything like important for these symbiotes.
Right.
Like we didn't even see any of that.
Yeah.
Because they all just died.
Mhm.
And then it just wasn't great for that part. I thought we were gonna like at least see more Easter eggs.
For symbiotes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they showed one of them was like yellowish.
Yeah.
I forgot which one that was. What was the symbiote called?
So it could either be Scream,
Scream.
who is yellow and red, or Phage, who has like a yellowish brown type. But again, they
think it
never
might have been Phage,
we
yeah.
never see them like in their
No, you
actual
don't.
form.
Yeah,
We just see the
exactly.
symbiote, which is the only 2 symbiotes that we see in their form is Venom
And
and
Riot.
Riot.
Yes.
And again, who I think Riot, the worst possible symbiote you can choose
Discount.
because it really is exactly a discount Venom. It's just really he's just sort of a copy and paste Venom who isn't as interesting. There's no real distinctive feature to him that makes him stand out from the other symbiotes. That's why
He did look a little
yeah,
bit different in the movie, like the
In-
CGI they
yeah.
made him look
in the
like
movie.
his eyes.
In the
Here.
movie, they made him. Yeah, in the film, they made him.
They made him more OP.
They
yeah.
gave him like a silver, like what's it
Tone.
called, accents.
Silver tone.
Yeah.
Silver tone.
But like other than that,
Silver
that was
tone.
about it. You know what I mean? I think
I mean-
if you had a different symbiote, like I think Scream would have been a great.
Yeah, because it's
That-
colorful.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I would like to see more colors
Flashy.
in it.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, it's more distinctive. That's what I'm saying. It's
Yes.
a clear, distinctive feature from Venom. You
Yeah,
know.
because he's just all black.
Yeah, and when
White.
in the final fight, Venom versus Riot, there's no real like this. I mean, aside from the silver accent, it's just like it looks like just 2 dark symbiotes fighting.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
like
It's like
looks kind of like you're dumping like 2 liquids, like one that's just a shade darker than the other one
Right.
into a cup,
Yeah.
and they all kind of like mix, and either way, it's gonna come out a
the
dark
same,
liquid.
right? Yeah, yeah.
It's
It made it for a very, in my opinion, very boring. Not only final fight, but villain in general.
Yeah. Well, I feel like this was a practice run.
Yeah,
We'll see better later. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I mean, well, hopefully, right? Hopefully,
Hopefully.
Carnage is much better, and I feel like he will. But that's why, to me, the big positive of this film is Eddie Brock and Venom. Their dynamic is very great. Like that progression of when he first gets the symbiote attached to the end of the movie. It's very comical.
Yeah.
Right? It's oddly enough very fun. I'll say this movie was a lot funnier than I thought it would be.
Yeah. Yeah, it was.
That relationship with Venom and Eddie Brock was really great.
Yeah.
I think it was a great way to represent both personalities.
And something that I saw was the relationship between them.
Mhm.
They like really connected, which I liked, and they actually like talking to each other.
Mhm.
You know? And they had really good conversation with each other. Like brings out a lot of comedy.
Yeah.
Like when he said, like they're both the same.
Oh, they're both losers.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
And their planets.
Yeah. he's
They're
like-
parallel to each other.
Yeah.
like,
Exactly.
Well,
That-
I'm like you, loser.
Yeah.
I think it's even more funny because it's Tom Hardy doing the voice of Venom.
Yeah.
So he's basically
Talking to
to
himself.
himself, but it
Like
still
a psycho.
But it still works, you know.
Yeah.
And that's where I think that's where the majority of the comedy comes from.
I think it was what's it called? Like I like the way they bonded. Yeah, definitely. I just thought it was kind of BS because I like at first you see it's freaking or like it's like Venom and he was like, "Don't worry, I'll protect you." This and this and that. Then it turns out that Brock is dying,
Mm-hmm.
and then Venom's like, "No, it's not true. It's not true." And they realize it's because of the freaking symbiote.
Right.
And then he was like, "Nah, we're done. That's it. Finito. Just ciao, whatever." And then they freaking bond again, and then like Venom gets more, how do you say it?
Friendly, I guess.
Friendly,
Yeah.
yeah, with Brock. And then you see at the end when they're like very like understanding of each other, he's like, "You're only gonna kill bad people, and maybe, just maybe, I'll let you eat 1 or 2 of them." And Venom's like, "Alright, I dig it."
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think just aside from that one line about Venom mentioning that he's like they're both losers, they don't really show why Venom decides to stay with Eddie Brock. You know, because Venom jumps from like host to host like quite a bit in this film.
Yeah.
And I think again that has to do a lot with the fact that the runtime of the film and how much exactly they ended up cutting.
Yeah.
I have a feeling there was probably a lot more development in that area, and then unfortunately got cut.
Plot holes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's talk about that Stanley
Oh,
cameo.
Stanley cameo.
Yeah.
Stanley cameo was really out again, because I mean, like obviously Stanley cameos in like not just MCU films, but like I had totally forgotten about. Hey, I wasn't going into Venom thinking, oh yeah, I'm expecting a Stan Lee cameo, and so when that happened, it was like, wow, okay, but it's because it was really towards the end.
Yeah.
So and I was like, but it was very nice. Very nice way to, I guess, end. Well, he kind of ends that little like the storyline between Eddie Brock and his girlfriend, right?
Yeah.
But it's kind of weird though. Like, how does he know about the relationship?
I know. Well, I mean,
How does he know about
The
Venom too?
overseer.
Yeah.
He said it's both of you or something like that.
Yeah,
He
I
alludes to
know.
Venom.
The overseer.
yeah. Well, I mean, it's
The Watcher.
Yeah,
Whatever his
I
name
guess maybe I think it's gonna think. Well, Stanley is the universal character, I guess, if you
Exactly.
want to say. Yeah.
So, what were you thinking about, Juan?
Oh well, I guess I'm trying to think of what else we're missing in like the film. There isn't like
Yeah,
much.
again, it was a short film. There's
Yeah,
not
that's what I'm
much
saying.
to-
We kind of
there's
just
not much to reveal.
went through it. Yeah.
I mean, we could talk about. Oh, let's talk about Carnage.
I'm talking about Carnage.
Ah,
Well, I
yeah.
mean, I guess that's like already after. I was gonna say like. I know you said you thought it was very action packed, but like I mean that first act is pretty like it's slow in a bit. It's kind of boring a little bit up until he gets the symbiote, right?
Yeah.
And then so the first big action scene that we get is him getting chased by the mercenaries, and and like I guess the symbiote is slowly starting to like take over as he's riding this bike. And I actually thought that first. I mean, maybe if they had shown a little bit less trailer, a lot of the scenes in the film would have been a lot more like it would have given you a bigger reaction. In
Yeah.
a sense, because like I imagine like seeing his first like full transformation. If we hadn't seen it in the trailer,
We'd be like,
I'd imagine, yeah, exactly, right. But because we already saw it in the trailer, it was like,
Yeah,
everybody
it gives
was
it
like,
away a lot.
yeah.
But I mean, we got like a clips of like different Venoms.
Also, because stuff
Yeah.
got
and
leaked.
She Venom. That's
yeah.
Also
The
because-
trailer got leaked the day before, or no, it got leaked and then they were like whatever, and then they just freaking released it the next day. Yeah.
That first, I think it's actually cool that they, even though PG-13 again, they actually do show Venom biting someone's head off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And obviously they cut away very quickly, like they don't show you anything else, but
Yeah.
it's, you can't
You
say
see
that.
the chunk.
Yeah, you see the chum, and it's, I mean,
But
They should
I'm
do
just trying to like know what happened to the body. Like,
yeah, I mean
Like,
that's
what
what,
did-
obviously,
did he just,
it's-
like,
obviously
eat
it
the
just
whole
stays.
thing?
No, he just eats the head, and because in that, well, at least in that first scene, he bites the head, and then a bunch of other mercenaries start shooting at him or
Yeah.
whatever, and then he just leaps into the ocean. He swims, and then he becomes Eddie
he's a great
again.
swimmer.
Yeah, yeah, he's like blasting his way through the water, isn't he?
Yeah.
Wow, that was a cool like first full Venom scene. It was pretty short.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was.
Venom I heard was like in total get 6 minutes.
You only get 6 minutes
Only
of
gets,
Venom.
Yeah,
Oh.
6 minutes of Venom
Yeah.
screen time throughout the whole movie.
Which I remember before the movie came out, that was like a big topic of discussion. That supposedly someone said there's not. Oh, okay, Venom was supposedly only gonna be in the movie until the end.
Which is
Um,
pretty.
I mean, a
Pretty-
bit, yeah, because you
pretty
have
cut short.
the beginning of the second act is Venom like first appearing. The next time you see him, it's when Eddie's trying to break into his old job building.
Yeah.
That's probably
Yeah.
the most time we get with Venom, I say, because you have him climbing the building, getting
He drops
getting
off
into the building,
evidence, and then he
jumps-
goes down, and then the
the whole
SWAT team is waiting for him.
and then I thought that was very cool. That, like I said, my opinion, best scene.
Yeah.
I think that's very cool how he says he's like
Mask.
mask
Copy.
and then he transforms. That was really cool, and that whole
Yeah.
fight scene is really sick. That's what I said. To me, that scene is so much better than the final fight.
Yeah.
Which
The final fight was like way too short.
and it was very like I don't know if I want to say routine, but it was just for the fact that you have two symbiotes fighting. They didn't really do a lot of
So, yeah.
inner and like creative like scenarios.
Other
Yeah.
than like just freaking Riot making weapons out of
Yeah.
like his symbiote, like making the axes, and then
Yeah.
Venom's like, see, I told you he has some crazy stuff,
Yeah.
and that's about
Or
it.
like
yeah.
them mushing together.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
that-
don't know why they. Well, I
The
mean,
two liquids, yeah.
Well, I understand like Riot was trying to like consume Venom,
Yeah.
but even then, that's only for like 5 seconds,
Yeah.
and then they split again. I guess even the final fight is very fast paced,
Yeah.
but not in a good way. You know, 'cause
Yeah,
it's
not in a good way, because it was pretty boring.
Yeah.
After like in the tower, he was like, bing.
Right,
like,
yeah. The best way to describe it is it's kind of anticlimactic.
Yeah.
Because Riot just gets into the ship, and then Venom, what's it called? He like splits the
Slice-
gas,
yeah.
slices, so
Slices
the gas
one of
comes
the
out.
jet engines.
Yeah, and then it blows up, and
Yeah.
that's about it. And it's
And we
like,
think he's dead.
yeah. Oh yeah, but obviously.
You know, my question was,
Obviously not. Yeah.
why did he just go all the way up? That was kind of weird.
What do you mean?
Like when he went all the way up to the ship, was that because he was trying to like slide down?
I guess he was trying
I
to.
think he was trying to get to Riot.
He was trying to get to Riot, but then he
Yeah,
said,
but even then, there.
He was like, I got an idea, and then just
yeah, some stuff isn't very clear.
Yeah,
Directionally,
I actually thought he was gonna stab him. Just blew him up.
I honestly thought the way Riot was gonna go out was that the ship was gonna get launched, and that he was gonna get stuck underneath the
fire.
the fire, where the thrusters, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the jet would have gone off, and then they would have gotten burned, right? That's what I thought. I thought that would have been a cool one, but no, he gets blown up inside the rocket.
Well, either way, he gets burned. So
Yeah.
The last scene of the film again is in the trailer, where when he apprehends the burglar at the convenience store.
Yeah.
oh yeah,
That's again.
He's an
that's-
extorter.
Yeah,
extorter.
yeah. That's in the trailer too.
extortionist.
So
yes,
it's I don't know why they keep doing. Sony does that again. I remember
Yeah,
Amazing
yeah.
Spider-Man 2. The last shot of the film is him
Fighting
running towards
Rhino.
Rhino,
Yeah.
and that's in the trailer. And then that's the
was?
last. Yeah.
Wow,
and
what
then
the
that's
heck?
the last scene in the film. And
I was kind of disappointed in that. I
Yeah.
thought we were actually gonna see
a
Riot.
full fight.
Full fight with Riot. Yeah.
Mhm, yeah.
But nope. See ya.
Yeah.
they pulled the rug out from under us.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, the movie kind of ends, but not really, because the end credits scene or the post credit scene is the real like ending of. I'd say that's the real
That's the real
end
Yeah.
of the film.
Yeah.
And
Of
I
course.
guess we can talk about that now. what did you guys think of Woody Harrelson as Cletus Cassidy?
Great
Definitely,
wig.
yeah, does not rock that wig at all.
Casting wise,
Good.
good.
Yeah,
Great,
I
good-
guess.
Good choice. Great choice, actually.
Even that was very misleading. They sort of they didn't advertise him in the trailers, but they made a big deal about Woody Harrelson is in the
Harrelson.
movie. He's not really in the movie. He's just in the end, you know.
Yeah.
I found it exciting. That was probably for me one of the most exciting parts of the movie.
The end.
Besides,
Right.
Besides some of the SWAT scene,
Yeah.
SWAT scene fight, for me it was exciting because for me he does portray a pretty good psychopath based on the other
roles.
roles he's played in shows and movies. He-
What has he been in?
Walking
This-
Dead?
Yes,
No,
Yeah.
no, he hasn't.
No.
So it wasn't him.
He's a true detective.
True Detective.
Zombie Land.
Never seen it.
Zombie.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah,
you're talking
no,
about. Walking Dead, 'cause of-
that's why. But he's not a psycho on that one. He's just a gunslinger.
I forgot what
Who
movie.
really likes Twinkies.
I forgot what other movie he was. But
Was
he
it-
plays I think he
A
plays a
psycho.
psychopath. I forgot what the film was.
Oh, it was Natural Born Killers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good,
Oh,
nice job. Yeah, that's Born Killers. So yeah, cast wise, fantastic. Wig wise,
Not so much.
no, pretty bad. I don't know why they went for a Sideshow Bob kind of look.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking
That's
too.
honestly
Looks
like
like a palm tree.
Like,
Yeah. I don't know why they went with the. I guess the curly hair because it kind of goes with his
Comic.
crazy
I
character.
think they should just
But
went
they should-
with the red like chopped hair.
Yeah,
like,
or like obviously Woody Harrelson is not he doesn't
Yeah, he
have,
doesn't have
doesn't
that
have hair.
Blonde, no, yeah.
I'd say just have him like that. Like he doesn't need to have the red hair.
Yeah.
I mean I understand that's how he looks
And
in the
plays
comics.
the comics.
yeah,
But
that's why
that's
that's
not-
what they were trying to do.
Yeah,
They're trying to make
but
it look more. As
I just think
comics.
hopefully in the second one he has a better wig.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe he has a better haircut. I don't know.
Yeah, the haircut was pretty cringe.
Yeah,
Good.
but yeah.
You know your kid is gonna be crazy when you give him a name like Cletus. What the hell is that, dude?
I don't know, but
When I first heard that it was like Woody Harrelson playing Carnage, I was like,
nice.
Good.
Good.
WTF?
What? What do you mean?
Well, cause I was like, isn't he like a country singer
Oh,
or
yeah,
something
I
like
guess,
that? I'm
but,
like,
like, well-
okay, yeah,
well,
we'll wait to see.
He always has that accent of his.
Yeah.
But I mean, I didn't really mind. It
Yeah.
doesn't really matter.
You know, when I get out, Eddie, there's gonna be carnage.
Yeah. Now that to me was very.
That line was cringe.
I don't know about cringe, but like just a bit.
A
I
bit
guess.
on the nose.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. It was a very. That's why to me, like that part, that whole scene summarizes why I feel like this is very much a pre-MCU film. Very those standalone films. Yeah, because most of those films sometimes weren't very subtle.
Yeah.
It's been a while since I've heard like a name drop like that.
Yeah.
Like where it's not like my name is so. It's just they have a line like that.
It was kind of cringe. Like,
I guess
there will be carnage.
I kind of equate it to that Fantastic Four reboot where
Right.
like freaking Doctor Doom comes out.
Yeah.
And then he was like, "There's no victor anymore. There's only doom."
Oh.
And then I was just like,
But
"Yeah, okay, buddy.
No, but
Sure, buddy."
Lazy writing.
There's a there's another line
that's
in
just
that
lazy
movie.
writing.
There's another line in that movie where it's Sue Storm, because they're supposed to all be working together, Victor and the rest, and the Fantastic Four, and she's like I forgot what he says, but she's like, look,
"Geez, Dr. Doom over here."
I'm like, oh,
and he just
my
looks at her,
God.
and I'm just like,
yeah. That to me was the equivalent of what happened at the end.
Yeah.
But
That's pure cringe, right?
face
there.
palm. Yeah.
just a bit.
Well, I mean, they should have done like, I don't know. They probably shouldn't have said Carnage because that's like too obvious.
Maybe you could have actually seen the symbiote. The symbiote. Maybe it's just an idea.
Will we ever
Yeah,
see that?
I guess.
It's a different way to
Because
imply.
isn't it in the comics? Isn't it like a
It's an
freaking
offspring.
extension
It's
or
an
an
offspring
offspring
of
of Venom?
So
So how do you mean offspring? Does like a part of
like,
Venom?
a part
just-
of Venom detaches itself from Eddie and sort of goes into Cletus, which sounds kind of weird.
That's
right?
gonna
But,
be weird because like
Yeah.
Venom's not gonna be like, oh, I
Exactly.
like this guy a
yeah,
little bit
I
better
know.
than you.
Yeah.
Deuces freaking
yeah,
jumps off and
exactly.
bonds with
So
Cletus.
that's what to me. I guess to me in this movie, I think it would make more sense if it's either like another
piece of Riot,
symbiote,
yeah,
or a
another.
piece of Riot. I guess they could still do it a piece of Venom, but the way they've established the symbiotes in this film, it wouldn't really make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, honestly, regardless, as long as we get Carnage, I think we're all pretty happy about that.
Yeah. First time in the big screen.
Yeah.
For me, it's almost not a must, but it'd be a recommendation to the studio that Carnage should be a rated R movie.
Yeah, do it right.
Especially because his character in the comics, and I mean, there's no other way Carnage is portrayed. He's like a beast, some like non-stop killing machine.
Yes.
So for you to water it down, then you don't really have a Carnage there. You kind of have a Venom.
Right. A second Venom.
Yeah, a second Venom, another discount Venom, which means, you don't get a variety of symbiotes.
Yes.
So if you're going to have a Carnage, might as well make it rated R because you really want to explore that character's elements.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Like because obviously with like Carnage, the way he is and the way like he freaking, I think I was reading on IG, there was like some post that the Carnage symbiote had like went into the water system of like a small town.
Yes.
And he freaking there was like a baby taking a bath. He infected that baby, and that baby infected his like older brother, which was only like a few years older than him. Then they both go and attack his dad. I'm like, that's the kind of like crazy, gory stuff that you'd like expect from Venom. Yes, obviously. So like a PG-13 rating would not do that justice at all.
It limits the capabilities or the range of
Possibilities.
possibilities and opportunities they could take advantage of to make a good Carnage movie.
Yeah, you're right.
It was an alright movie. That's what I was
Alright.
I mean, for me, I definitely enjoyed the movie. Yes, I wouldn't agree with the critics that it was terrible. No, I actually really enjoyed the movie. It's just, there's some things that could have been improved.
I say it's definitely like 8 out of 10 for me because I just really enjoyed it. I thought it was funny. I'm a freaking big fan of Tom Hardy, so of course.
Right, yeah.
And Venom, of course. Venom, we've been waiting for this one.
Yep. Definitely an improvement again over Topher Grace's Venom and Spider-Man 3. The best part of the film is definitely Venom and Eddie Brock, and that has a lot to do with Tom Hardy's performance.
Yeah.
Again, to me, again, this is very much pre-MCU film, standalone, and I really like it. I enjoy it for that. I think it's too short again, which it very much limits a lot of the elements of the film, unfortunately. And then the first act is a little bit slow and kind of boring. But
Alright.
other than that, it was pretty entertaining. Here's hoping that the second one is a better improvement over this one.
All right, let's get right into the news then.
All right, so we got our first look at the first Star Wars live-action TV series, The Mandalorian,
Mandalorian.
who will be show run by Jon Favreau.
Yes.
So we got our first look and the first synopsis of the TV series. What did you guys think about it?
Well, seeing the set pics of like the dude in the armor and the Mandalorian armor, I was like, that looks like freaking they're trying to copy like Django or freaking Boba Fett's armor.
Yeah.
But I didn't realize that's where their armor came from, and they're not even Mandalorian in the first place. So they're copying off of the Mandalorian's like freaking look, right?
Uh-huh.
But still though, that like armor looks dope. It looks very like sci-fi western gunslinger type thing. Like it looks really cool. I liked it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm actually really excited for it. They get to explore another element of the Outer Rim, as they would say.
Yeah.
Because I mean, in Star Wars, you're usually stuck just to Coruscant, all the big name hustling bustling planets. Maybe like in the original trilogy, you go into the Outer Rim, you explore a little bit more of like the poorer side, the less wealthy side of Star Wars, and the more scoundrel, cantina life.
Yeah. Okay.
And for me, you're gonna get probably more aspects because I mean, in Mandalorians, you're probably gonna see Mandalore, you're gonna see Coruscant, you're gonna see cantinas, you're gonna see the life maybe like of a bounty hunter or something like that. Which I mean is good because you're gonna get to explore different maybe storylines if they decided not just focus on one character, but maybe one or two.
Right. The set, the first reveal photo, kind of looks like he's on Tatooine. Which is kind of cool. I don't want to say grounded because obviously it's Star Wars, but it's definitely gonna have more of a feeling like Rogue One did, a little bit more grittier than your normal like episodic film. I'm very excited to see I'm just very excited the fact that we're finally getting a live action Star Wars TV show. We've never really gotten that before. We just gotten the animated series, which have been good. Well, at least Clone Wars was really good, right?
Clone Wars
And the fact that they're also having a lot of great Jon Favreau, great writers. The writer for Clone Wars, Dave Filoni, is gonna apparently direct some episodes, which is really cool too. And so I'm just really excited. It's set after Return of the Jedi. And so it's sort of gonna
It's gonna connect.
It's supposedly
canon.
Yeah, for sure this is canon. Yeah,
it's canon.
And supposedly it's gonna show a little bit more of the rise of the New Republic after the fall of the Empire,
and also probably the rise of the
maybe which is cool because we might explore more of unknown regions.
Yeah.
So I think that's very exciting. That's very promising.
Well, I don't really know anything about the Mandalorians thing, so
Right.
yeah. But sounds cool though.
Yeah. Yeah. And obviously this will be it will be streaming on Disney's new streaming service, which will be released next year, I believe.
Along with the new
Clone Wars season, yes. So I think so far, honestly, with all the controversy and the film wise, after Last Jedi and Solo, I have a feeling that
this is some damage control.
That and we're gonna see, I think, a shift from people being really excited for the movies to people being really excited for the TV shows. I definitely am right now. I think
I'm more excited for a TV show than.
Yeah.
That's not a cash grab. It's just.
Well, isn't it off of the Disney streaming service?
Yes.
And won't you have to pay for that?
Yeah, but I mean, that's.
Cash
I
grab.
don't want to say a cash grab, dude. They just want to make a streaming
Chill.
service. Well, they don't work. I don't know what other channel they would be able to
stream it on.
Or just if they say Mandalorian. I wouldn't want to see that show on ABC.
I'd want to see that on Netflix or something like that.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. But instead of doing Netflix, they're gonna make their own streaming service.
Yeah.
So Disney?
Yeah.
They're gonna have to have a lot of different shows to be able to.
Yeah. Well, they're apparently making. There's other news about they're making Marvel shows as well for that, which is pretty cool too. I don't know. I think it's gonna be worth the subscription, in my opinion. They're gonna have a lot of stuff. But yeah. All right.
Too many subscriptions.
But yeah. In next news, James Gunn is apparently set to possibly write and then direct Suicide Squad 2. It hasn't been like settled like that he will, but it's in talks at the moment. Which I can't believe I'm saying this, but I'm actually excited for Suicide Squad 2.
Oh yeah. More so than Suicide Squad 1.
Yeah. What are your thoughts, guys?
Well, I think this is like James Gunn or not. Yeah, his like middle finger to Marvel. They're like, if you're gonna kick me out for some dumb stuff that I said like a long time ago, I'm about to show you. I'm about to make these people more money. So, deuces.
And I mean, I'm actually really excited for that because not just him coming over, he's probably going to bring Bautista with him.
Oh, okay, yes.
Yes.
And
Yes.
we're going to get to explore the elements of hopefully bringing another. Because I mean, I guess they're good friends, they're colleagues. I think Bautista is also going to come through and be like, also, you want to mess with my friend? I'm sticking with him too.
Yeah, I think Dave Bautista, out of all the cast members of Guardians, was the one that was most outspoken about the fact that they fired him.
Yeah.
And so he's already expressed interest in playing a role in the DC film that's written and directed by James Gunn. And so obviously a lot of people have already said Bane would be perfect, which I'd agree with.
Since his his career as a wrestler,
I would absolutely agree
perfect.
with that. And then again, and if they announce he's going to be in the movie, even more excited.
Yes,
They're
that's a good
They're
way.
gonna show his talents.
Yeah.
Good way to market it as well.
Yeah.
It's a good way to market it.
And again, this to me makes a lot of sense because Suicide Squad was you could say the Guardians of the Galaxy of DC movies,
And-
or at least that's what they were trying to go for, right?
And it didn't do so.
Yeah, obviously,
It wasn't.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm actually excited for this now because they have James Gunn.
And hopefully the studio gives them the liberties and
Yeah.
the options and choices and the resources to be able to do this, because I mean, if they give them that, for sure they're going to be making a great movie, making a lot of money, and that only is beneficial to the fans and them. Everybody wins in this situation.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm like I said, can't wait to see the film. I already just by like if this happens.
Don't get too high, man.
I mean, yeah. I mean, it's probably not going to be my most anticipated film. Like they haven't announced, it's coming out this year.
Yeah.
Because they're still working on it, right?
Still in development.
Yeah. But I mean, well, I guess we just gotta wait for that first trailer, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways,
Of course.
Speaking of Marvel business, Disney and Fox merger will close in 2019, early 2019, apparently January 1st, which obviously means we're finally gonna have Fantastic Four and X-Men in the MCU, which is insane. What do you guys think about that too? Are you guys pretty excited about it?
Of course.
I mean, only thing I'm worried about is like who's gonna play Wolverine.
Okay.
Because friggin' Hugh Jackman said he would be interested, but then he was like, nah, I take it back, never mind. And the other thing is like we're not gonna have like badass Logan anymore. We're gonna have like kid-friendly freaking safety scissors claws Wolverine,
You know,
which kind of sucks, but
no, I think we should get new characters into the X-Men universe, cause like we need new X-Men.
Right.
And we've seen these X-Men a lot.
Right.
So like, why can't we get new ones instead of like of like characters that we've seen before?
Yeah.
Wouldn't you like to see like Gambit?
Yeah, Gambit is
Yes.
like actually part of the X-Men.
not Channing Tatum though.
Yeah. Or like any other like that's part of the X-Men universe.
Right. Yeah. An actual good Cyclops.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That too. Of course.
Oh jeez.
I think it'd be really cool if they actually like when they introduce them, it's the original team when the comic book debuted, which was Cyclops, Iceman, Jean Grey,
Iceman, yes.
Right, Beast, and Angel.
We've seen
Those were the OG five.
Yeah.
I think that'd be a great way to like introduce them, and then obviously expand it to like the '90s cast, which we know, like Wolverine, Gambit, Storm. But what I'm really excited for the merger is we're finally gonna get the Fantastic Four. And obviously, it's actually gonna be good.
The one good movie. Yeah.
Yes, and because I'm so happy that we're finally gonna get a good Doctor Doom, because my opinion, the best Marvel villain and my favorite villain, and in the 2 previous movies that he's been in, it's absolute trash.
Yeah.
So I'm just excited for the possibilities. It opens up a lot more opportunities. I could see definitely Galactus as the Phase 4 main villain,
Like,
which would be
they'll
awesome.
they'll put freaking, like, they'll tease him through Fantastic Four, and then they'll freaking bring him into Avengers, and that's how they make the crossover.
Yeah, redeem him because like Fantastic Four, Rise, whatever it's called,
Rise of the Silver Surfer.
Rise of the Silver Surfer.
No, terrible.
Jesus.
I mean, Silver Surfer in that movie wasn't that bad, but Galactus wasn't even Galactus. It was just a big cloud in the sky. Yeah, I mean, terrible. Man, it's so funny though, because there was that one cool shot in that movie where he's passing by a planet and you see his shadow, and it's actually how he looks.
Of course, yeah,
right?
I saw that, and I was just like,
but then you
Where's
don't
that?
actually. Yeah, exactly. So you know for sure if Galactus is in the MCU, he'll look exactly like he does in the comic books.
I know who else? Colossus.
Colossus or for X-Men.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel like we could get Deadpool Colossus just because he's like very.
Oh
Very
right,
censored,
yeah, that Colossus.
And I would, to be honest, I wouldn't want to have like another Colossus.
Yeah, that's a good Colossus.
Yeah.
That was a very comic book accurate Colossus.
Rule number 1, no killing ever. Rule number 2, label everything in the refrigerator.
Yeah. I wouldn't mind if it was the same Colossus. I think it'd be really good. The fact that we're getting Captain Marvel and the Skrulls are in there,
Yeah.
they could definitely start teasing some Galactus stuff, because they could say if they make it a plot that the Skrulls' homeworld is gone because it was devoured, it'd be like they don't have to say obviously by Galactus. If they just say the Skrulls are attacking the Kree or they're in war because they're trying to inhabit their world because they don't have a world of their own.
Yeah.
If they do that, I'm already hyped, because I'm like, even if they don't say it was because of Galactus, in my mind, it's because of Galactus. And obviously, once they get the character, they'll definitely make it that it was Galactus.
When is Avengers 4 coming out? It's this year, right?
No, next.
No, next year.
Next year, I don't know. So I think it's set for May.
Okay.
But they might, and I'm
Perfect.
hoping they do the
They do
same
the
thing.
Infinity War thing.
Where they released it in April, like late April. Yeah.
So like, what's it called? I bet you right now.
you know what I
That-
also want to see in the X-Men universe? Onslaught.
Onslaught, yeah,
Who's
Onslaught.
that?
It's basically Onslaught's a weird character, but it's very cool. He's actually very OP because he's basically Magneto and Professor Xavier like together.
Nice.
Which sounds kind of weird, but like that's the result is Onslaught, and he's like this OP villain that like no mutant can really take him down. And so he would actually be another pretty big like maybe not a final phase
Villain for like
for a full phase, but like definitely
like Apocalypse. And
for sure. I think you can absolutely make Apocalypse a big phase villain.
Yeah.
For me, in my opinion, because the way I was very disappointed in how they showed Apocalypse and X-Men Apocalypse.
Yeah.
Just did not. That is not the full power of Apocalypse. They did not really demonstrate how OP he is.
He's not huge.
Yeah, and that too. Yeah. So yeah, Onslaught and Apocalypse definitely great.
I bet you, yeah. At the end of Avengers 4, like if they defeat Thanos and stuff like that, I bet you Galactus is gonna be teased.
Yeah,
Post credits. I bet
hoping,
you.
I'm hoping that's what happens. But yeah, guys, it's a great time to be a Marvel fan. Honestly,
Great time to be broke too.
that too, because there's so many movies coming out.
It's okay. I got that cover for Brian.
Just
But,
Brian though.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like we're finally gonna have a movie where it's gonna be the Avengers,
Yep.
X-Men,
Yep.
Fantastic Four
Mhm.
together. Fantastic.
Spray.
Just a big old sausage fest of superheroes.
Oh man. I just hope. I hope they just don't go, too much. Like I hope they don't do what they did before in the past.
They don't fly too close to the sun.
Yeah. No, I mean, and listen, Marvel's been doing this for over 10 years. They're in their 22nd film, I think, with Captain Marvel. They obviously know what to do. As long as they keep Kevin Feige as producer, we should be fine. And as long as they keep getting good, talented directors and writers, we should be.
And actors.
Yeah, we should be fine.
I mean,
actors,
Actors. Well, we've got really good actors.
Yeah, and so I can't wait to see who
Chris
they
Pratt,
start.
man. He was.
Chris Pratt.
Yeah.
Yes.
Chris Pratt.
Chris
Pratt.
Pratt.
Yeah, whatever.
Pratt.
Whatever.
Crisp
He
Pratt.
was
Chris
like
Pratt.
a TV.
Yeah, Parks
person.
and Rec.
Yeah.
Parks and Rec.
Yeah.
That
So
one
that's
GIF.
So that's what I'm really excited to see who they cast
Yeah.
for Fantastic Four and X-Men. But yeah,
Alrighty then.
that was it for our second podcast. Thank you for joining us. Signing out, I was your host Juan.
And Alberto.
And Emmanuel.
I'm Brian.
Thank you for watching.
We'll catch you guys.
Rate, comment, subscribe.
Yes, do all that good stuff. Have a good one.